Okay, welcome back. And what we'll be looking at now is how we can solve a linear equation that involves variation. And variation may be a new concept for you, and there are two types of variation that we'll talk about. First one is direct variation. And here we have two variables, two expressions. And if they vary directly, what that means is if one gets bigger, the other gets bigger. If one gets small, the other gets small. So if I say that P varies directly with V, what that means is that P is equal to some constant K times V. And what that means, what that implies, is that as P gets bigger, V gets bigger. As P gets smaller, V gets smaller. And they kind of vary in a way that they each make the other one change in the same way that they are changing. So in inverse or indirect variation, what that means is that if S gets bigger, T gets smaller. If S gets smaller, T gets bigger. And so the way that that works is S is equal to K over T. And so if S gets big, T has to get small. If S gets small, T gets big. And so these are the two major equations for direct variation or inverse or indirect variation. Those are the big things to remember in this case. So check out this statement. We have actually two types of variation going on in one. We're told that A varies directly with M and inversely with the square of Q. Sounds complicated, but it isn't. And all that means is A is equal to, we always need a constant in there, so it varies directly with M and inversely with the square of Q. And that's how we translate that from English to mathematics. Get it? Varies directly with M, inversely or indirectly with the square of Q. So read this problem. This is the way a typical problem involving variation appears. We're told that T varies directly with X and inversely with Y, and we're giving information that T is 72 when X is 4 and Y is 9. But then we want to find T if X is 3 and Y is 6. So we begin by translating that first statement. T varies directly with X and inversely with Y. Okay, so what we need to do first in all of these problems is find out what the constant is. And we're given information right here that will enable us to do that. We're told that T is 72 when X is equal to 4 and Y is equal to 9. And so what I need to do now is figure out what K is. So to get K, I want to get K by itself. I'm essentially solving this for K. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 9 over 4. And that gives me the fact that K is equal to 72 times 9 over 4. And so K is going to equal 162. That's a pretty important middle step, so I'll put a box around it. So now I can write T is equal to 162 times X over Y. And that's a big deal too, so that deserves a little box. So now I can answer my question. Find T if X is equal to 3 and Y is equal to 6. So that's simply simplifying this. T is equal to 162 times X over Y. And so that means that T is going to equal 81. Get it? And there's my answer. Kind of fun. Nice little puzzle to solve.